Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled People. In today's episode, I've been caretaking for my elderly dad and my sister tried to blame me for his health issues. I don't know your name, but HR sure does. Karen slips at Goodwill and breaks her glassware. Threatens to call corporate. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. I've been caretaking for my elderly dad and my sister tried to blame me for his health issues. For the last half a year, I have given up my apartment and my life in a huge way to help my dad while he was having some medical issues. Earlier in the year, he was in the hospital with pneumonia. He also is in the hospital to receive a pacemaker surgery. He is widowed as my mom unexpectedly passed away 2 years ago after a very brief health issue. She was younger than him and it's been difficult on all of us. I, 31, have tried to help alleviate a lot of the burden by basically deciding to temporarily move in with him even though in the past he has had narcissism issues and been emotionally abusive at times. I knew the situation would be temporary and I figured it would be the best transition to then hiring someone for him. My sister, 33, lives about 20 minutes away and comes over once a week mainly to have brunch. A lot of the times she becomes very controlling and have similar personality traits to him. She tries to tell me what's to do in regards to his care or general house things / tries to correct things that are not issues even though she's around a very minimal amount of the time. This past week, my dad was back in the hospital and got diagnosed with an early stage of congestive heart failure. The doctor seemed optimistic that there's things my dad can do to help alleviate, but that it's a minimal stage. One of the big things the doctor said with stress, which my dad tends to get very stressed on his own, and it's his personality. Today my sister went to go see my dad in the hospital and wanted to talk to the doctor and then call me after, even though I already had all of the medical information. She then sent me a bunch of messages basically telling me that we need to work on not getting him stressed, and that she knows that he's part of the problem but that I need to play a role in not getting him worked up. She basically was talking down to me as if I'm the reason he gets stressed when in reality, I've been a huge part of his caretaking and helping alleviate that stress. When he and I have had arguments, it's been due to him getting really stressed about something not necessary and me reacting to it and defending myself. She's had explosive arguments with him over the years and I find it very hypocritical her talking like this. She made it sound like she's perfectly good with him and that I really need to work on my emotional reactions to him. I felt very attacked and as if she was trying to blame me for his stress levels and trying to act as if though he's not the number one issue of his own stress. She was sending me a bunch of messages, so I ended up calling her and told her that ultimately he's in control of his own stress and that I've helped alleviate a lot of it by moving in with him. She then told me that this is always what I do and get defensive when I get called out on something. She then sent me a bunch of other messages after hanging up on me and was very holier than thou and talking down to me as if I'm not the one with him 99% of the time, when she's there 1% of the time. She was extremely hostile to me on the call and rude, saying that I can't take ownership and just agree to this. She kept sending messages, so I stopped responding because I didn't even want to continue arguing. I don't know what to do anymore. I feel as if I'm really alone in my own family as my mom was the person I was closest to. It sounds like it's time to step back and allow her to show you the right way to care for dad. You should suggest getting an apartment of your own while she moves into dad's place. Agree with her that it's for the best as she has convinced you that it's the only answer. Sounds like it is time to pull yourself back and let sister take care of him since she seems to feel she can do a better job, so call her bluff. Sister, if you feel that you can do better, switch places with me and you be his caregiver and take over his care while I show up once a week to berate you about all that you are doing wrong. No? Then shut up and back the *CK off. Stop bothering the both of us with your unnecessary nonsense and drama. I took care of my mother by myself. When the end was coming, my brother flew in and questioned everything. She didn't have dementia, he talked to her and she was fine. He talked to her on the phone for maybe 5 minutes asking for money. He wasn't there for the discussion about why we weren't having dinner with him, because he was hundreds of miles away. I would tell your sister you're so glad she's volunteered to come and spend every weekend taking care of Dad so you can have some time off. Honestly, look at getting some professional help so you don't burn out. It's so easy to ignore your own needs while taking care of an aging parent. As someone who is taking care of one of their parents, if you're in the States, get POA for healthcare. This allows you to do more for your parents and make decisions if and when they can't. Then speak to your father and ask him what he wants out of everything. Then block your siblings on all channels but one. Give all updates on that channel. I did this and the relief was immense. My siblings never wanted to actually talk to me, they wanted to know stuff about my parent that had nothing to do with their health. I love that I blocked them on everything. I have reduced stress. My parents saw this and finally told them off. They stopped calling as much. All they wanted was some of their stuff, to use them as a sitter or use their place as an Airbnb. My parent is now very calm. They have CHF too. There are classes you can take in the States that teach you how to be effective as a caregiver/health advocate. I highly recommend them. They will also help you figure out how to speak to your father about boundaries and how to set them up for him and for you. I stopped being the primary caregiver to my bio mom, yes, the same woman who wouldn't raise me, when my bio sister, that she chose to raise, kept screaming at me because I didn't ask specific questions I had no idea to ask. Told her to text me anything she wanted me to ask by appointments time, but she didn't, just kept yelling. My mental health couldn't deal, so I stopped doing it. Your own mental health is more important. Put you first. You've described both of them as emotionally abusive and narcissistic, so I'm not terribly optimistic that you can get a good outcome in this situation. But my best advice here is twofold. First, less contact with your sister. When you do talk to her, practice the gray rock method. Give her boring, repetitive answers. Your scripts are I'll think about that and silence. Mute her texts. Don't take her calls. Second, focus on channeling her. She wants to make a suggestion about how things should be handled? That thing is on her now. Okay, when are you coming to take care of Dad? Sounds like you're really worried about this. Why don't you spend this weekend with Dad and I'll visit a friend? If she's not willing to help, she can STF you about what should be done. Say, you know what, maybe you have a point. You sound passionate and like you know what you're talking about. You look after Dad now, clearly you know better and we both want what's best for Dad. Thanks so much for being so compassionate. You're right, sis. I'm not up to the challenge. I leave him in your more capable hands. I don't know your name, but HR sure does. This tale comes from my very first job as a gym receptionist. It was a pretty plum gig, especially since the company paid above minimum wage. I worked the morning shift, which meant I was in charge of unlocking the building, making coffee, and signing in members as they arrived. Mostly, members liked to hit the gym before work, or join our semi-regular yoga class. In the pre-COVID times, a few people stopped to chat with me, but most just greeted me with a polite good morning and shared their name for sign-in. The member in this story, entitled Man EM, had never been polite, but he usually just breezed past me and snapped out his name. Whatever, I'm still getting paid to deal with you. During 2020, we changed our policies for safety reasons. Now members were required to sign up, at no extra cost, for yoga classes at least 12 hours beforehand so that we could coordinate with our instructor. She worked freelance and was a mom, so if nobody signed up, it really wasn't worth her time to come in so early and hope for walk-ins. And since we were doing contact tracing, I needed an accurate class list. Members could sign up online, or just call the front desk, as long as they signed up by the night before class was scheduled. We advertised and enforced the new rules heavily. If someone showed up without a sign-up, it was my job to tell them about the new policy and teach them how to sign up. For the most part, this wasn't a problem. 95% of my regulars understood that I was a cog in the machine, and that the machine was doing what it had to in order to stay open. Then one morning, EM breezed into the gym, snapped his name, and tried to walk to the yoga room. But there was one problem: he wasn't on the list. The conversation went as follows. Me, excuse me, sir? EM, what? Me, as part of our new COVID policies, we're asking all members to sign up ahead of time for. EM, cutting off my spiel, spoken with the rage of 1,000 suns, what? This is ridiculous. Starts pacing up and down the hall, muttering to himself about talking to Eric about this. Stops pacing and starts drilling his finger into my desk, leaning over said desk. Do you know who I am? How much I pay for this place? Me, terrified, trying to de-escalate. I'll add you to the list today, but... EM, cutting me off, good. He walked to yoga class. I kept an ear out in case he decided to go off on the yoga teacher. Thankfully, he was cheerful with her. But I won't lie, it scared me how quickly he could go from rage to cheer. I decided to stay out of sight for the duration of the class, but once my awesome boss, AB, got in for the day, I asked to see her. AB was the kind of person who did not tolerate members bullying staff, so when I started crying in her office, she was ready to go to war. I told her everything that happened, and I asked if EM was some sort of VIP, and if she knew who Eric was. Was he the owner of our parent company or something? Nope. Turns out, EM paid our lowest tier membership fees. And there was nobody named Eric with any hiring or firing power at our company anymore. There had been years ago, but that guy retired. I thought AB was just going to call EM and read him the riot act, but instead she asked me if I wanted to file a report with HR. Heck yes, I wanted this on file. This man nearly took my head off just because he couldn't be bothered to sign up in advance. A few weeks later, I heard about the fallout. Turns out I wasn't the only staff member that EM had tried to bully. He had quite the file with HR, apparently. So my general manager, AB's boss, called EM and told him the facts of life. Short version: don't upset the staff, as it won't end well for you. Sadly, while EM towed the line with me from then on, he still tried to bully the girl who replaced me when I left for another job. I'm so glad I warned her about him, because she knew exactly what to do. Hello, HR? I need to file a report. Update: folks are asking why his previous reports didn't get EM booted. For the record, I haven't kept up contact with fellow workers, so I'm not sure if he's actually still a member. Here's what I know for sure: I was the first person in my department, we had a gym, restaurant, etc., to report him. I don't know if he was already banned from the other areas of the business or not, but I can say for sure that he was on very thin ice after the second report from the gym. His wife had to essentially babysit him every time he came to the gym, because he obviously couldn't be trusted to act like a grown-up. He was the main account holder, but his wife and child were freaking angels, the best regulars I could have asked for. Friendly, cleaned up after themselves, even helped me refill paper towels and such, so their good reputation was the only thing that saved him. Knowing my AB, she would have been the one to insist on the chaperoning clause, because she did not like him at all. Ugh. Good on you for reporting and for you boss to take it seriously. But this guy already had a hearty file with HR, so why TF did your GM not ban him from the gym? No tolerance equals NO tolerance. One episode and you're done. Sounds like you did all you could in your spot, but your boss and the GM should have banned EM. Shitty of the gym to keep him around to just slap him on the wrist for each issue. He's definitely not feeling like he did anything wrong, since there are no consequences except for an annoying phone call. Good job, you set your successor up, so she knew what to expect and how to stop him. AB was great too, didn't allow employees to be bullied. Usually, subscribers to certain types of services tend to be more of the entitled type. Those who sit on a chair all day and need a gym just to get some exercise are in that class. I wonder what it is about having a sedentary job that causes this. Maybe those doing physical work never get the nervous energy built up, but the seated ones have excess energy, including the aggressive type. Then they want to take it out on gym employees and gym equipment. It's usually people who pay the least or do the least amount of work who see themselves as entitled to the best treatment or best stuff. Funny how that works, huh? Karen slips at Goodwill and breaks her glassware. Threatens to call corporate. This didn't happen to me, but someone I know who works for Goodwill. This happened over Memorial Day weekend. Mostly paraphrased. F equals friend. K equals Karen. So F works for Goodwill and he was ringing up customers. In comes K. She has a bunch of glassware that's super cheap already, talking like some pieces being 77 cents USD. But that's not good enough. She demanded from F to get more of a discount on the already discounted items. F, no, I am sorry, we cannot lower the prices any more than they already are. K asks for manager as Karens usually do. F, I'm sorry ma'am, my manager wouldn't be able to lower them either. K grumbles some more, but not without making a scene. She completes her transaction with F. She then goes to the exit, sees that it is raining. K, ugh. Stop raining. Entire store looks at her. K then proceeds to attempt to run to her car in the rain, but she slips and falls. Most likely screaming in the process. After a couple of minutes, she gets back up and comes back inside. K, I want a refund. All of my items are now broken and I can no longer use them. F, ma'am, Goodwill sales are final. No returns or refunds. You left the store. K, but I didn't even leave the store's premises, I just went outside the doors. F, you exited the store, you went out the doors. Therefore, you left the store. No refunds. K, I'm calling corporate. F, okay. You still cannot get a refund, ma'am. Defeated, presumably, K just leaves. With her broken glassware. Oh well, maybe don't run in the rain next time. Oh Karen, your actions causing you to create your own accident and the consequences are also all yours. You may rant and rage like a toddler, but only you are to blame. This is how we treat Karens in the UK. Seriously, what Americans have to tolerate in their jobs is terrifying. Bet you got wet sweeping up her broken glass from the parking area. Like I've been telling people, thrift stores are not your local Walmart, Target, and Dollar Tree. We don't take refunds on donated items and more like a garage sale. Dollar Tree doesn't either. They'll exchange an item for another, but they don't refund your money. Oh, don't you just love when things turn out so perfect? Former employee here. Friend did and said all the right things/words. Could not tell you how many people demanded discounts on already cheap stuff. I should work here, I come here so much, you don't want to work here. We're not allowed to hold or reserve things for ourselves, only allowed to shop on our days off, and there's no employee discount. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.